I want to play what Guardian congressional reporter Hugo Lowell told my colleague Katie Phang on her show earlier this morning. Watch, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Breaking overnight, Steve Bannon, Trump's former chief strategist, has opened discussions with the Select Committee about testifying in that investigation. So this comes after the former president sent a letter to Steve Bannon and his lawyer saying that he would waive executive privilege for Bannon if he could reach an accommodation with the Select Committee about testifying.
All right, Luke, you're a reporter with the New York Times. One, do you have reporting corroborating that? And two, the significance of Steve Bannon testifying before the committee?
Well, I was talking with the committee about this yesterday, and they have long held that they would like Steve Bannon to come in and testify. Now, they've never agreed that he has executive privilege, and they do not think there's anything for the former president to waive. He did not work in the White House at the time that they're interested in questioning him about, and they don't think there's any legitimate reason for him not to come testify and not to turn over documents. So they welcome Steve Bannon coming in and testifying. They welcome him testifying under oath and truthfully. But, you know, he has fought them tooth and nail to date. He's on the eve now of potentially facing a prison sentence, and now he's saying he might want to come in and talk. So, you know, I'll believe it when I see it.
One more question, too, before I bring you in, Glenn. How concerned is the committee that Steve Bannon now wants to talk because Donald Trump is out there complaining, no one is out there defending him, and that he could possibly turn the hearings into a circus?
Well, I don't think they would let Steve Bannon testify live. If Steve Bannon comes in, it would be behind closed doors, a transcribed interview. The committee is very conscious of having hearings that last about 2 to 3 hours and follow a logical, linear presentation of facts. They do not want a food fight. They don't want a circus. And so I would not expect Steve Bannon to testify live at a hearing.
All right, Glenn, I see you champing at the bit here to get in on this. Steve Bannon possibly wanting to talk to the committee now to keep himself out of jail. Let's say he does testify. Does that mean the Justice Department doesn't prosecute him?
Absolutely not. There's a criminal prosecution against Steve Bannon in court, up and running. He has a trial date. This whole thing, Jonathan, feels like a ploy. Why? Because he's going to claim, oh, well, look, now I have dispensation. I have a waiver from Donald Trump. That's why I couldn't testify previously. That's why I have a legal defense to the contempt of Congress charge. This is nonsense. This is a charade. This is a ploy. You know, Steve Bannon, Mr. I'm going to deconstruct the administrative state, is going to come in and testify truthfully and fully to the J6 committee? I don't think so.
Greg, let me bring you in here because there's another investigation going on there in Georgia, in Fulton County, focusing in on the interference into the 2020 election in Georgia. This piece of tape I want to show has been shown on our air continuously. I want to show it again because Blaine Alexander does ask DA Fani Willis a couple important questions. Watch, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Could we expect to possibly see additional subpoenas from people in former President Trump's inner circle, former Trump associates?
Yes.
Are we talking about family members? Are we talking about former White House officials?
I mean, we'll just have to see where the investigation leads us.
Might we see a subpoena of the former president himself?
Anything is possible.
So, Greg, you're covering this very closely. How serious is DA Willis in this investigation?
I think she's very serious. She said to Blaine Alexander also, she's not playing any games here. This is why the Fulton County investigation might wind up being the most serious legal threat to Donald Trump. This probe is accelerated. It's gone on since early last year. It is now tightening in on Donald Trump's inner circle right now. And if these characters, if these figures, Rudy Giuliani, Lindsey Graham, if they are compelled to testify, they're going to be under oath. And there's no telling what could come up. But I kind of see this as concentric circles, and they're starting to tighten around Donald Trump, one by one by one.
So I'm glad you mentioned the subpoena I'm thinking of Lindsey Graham, Senator Lindsey Graham, who made a phone call to some folks down there, and he is fighting the subpoena. Have you heard anything from any of the other folks who have been subpoenaed, like Rudy Giuliani or John Eastman or Cleta Mitchell, whether they are also fighting those subpoenas from the Fulton County DA?
Yeah, we expect them to fight them. They could claim attorney-client privilege, although it's unlikely a judge will uphold that. They could also ask for a hearing to try to prove that their testimony is unnecessary or there would be an undue burden on them. This judge has been very aggressive about allowing the subpoenas to go forward. So we're not sure how that will end up. But again, even with Lindsey Graham, the subpoena revealed new information that Lindsey Graham called Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger not once but twice to urge him to toss out what he's viewed as fraudulent ballots, which of course were not fraudulent whatsoever. And that conspiracy theory was debunked by state and federal election officials.